Let's take a look at Brett. Brett's, of course, getting a bit of a pump ski again. All right, let's get these drawings out of here. What do you think of Brett, Harry? Because Brett got a fucking beat down, but now it's been pumping pretty nicely off the lows.
Yeah, I mean, it got smacked probably hardest out of any of the boys club members. Um, as far as the bleed from the top, I mean, it bled. I know it's come back a little bit today, which is good. I think at the lows, it was down over 50%. I think it got all the way down to about 10 cents. It wicked down there,
Mm-hmm.
10 or 11 cents down from, over 22 cents, 23 cents. So, yeah, I mean, it had over a 50% bleed. But I mean, we've been saying from the beginning that we do think Brett is probably going to be a later in the cycle play. Um, once people are starting to experience the gas fees on Ethereum, once there's a shitload of volume on the network and people are having to pay three, four, five, $600 to execute a transaction. um,
Right.
Brett's gonna get a lot of attention. People are gonna realize, oh, I can buy Andy $500 worth of Andy, and I'm gonna get $50 worth of it, of the actual asset after I pay for the gas fees. Or I could
Right.
go to Brett and I can buy $500 worth, and I'll get 495 after the, you know, 1 cent gas fee and whatever exchange or network fee you're using. Um, so yeah, I think that Brett's probably going to be a little bit of a lagger. But I also know that the base network, like Coinbase, they still have the Coinbase listing obviously in their back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And like we talked about before, they're not just going to use a Coinbase and tier one exchange listing just for the hell of it. Everything is very intentional and it's done at a certain time that's going to be the most profitable for the major exchanges to do it. So if they feel like maybe the hype is falling off, the volume's starting to really slip, and they feel like they need to save the coin and save the chart, this coin hasn't even been listed yet. So, a few months ago, Brett was bleeding down to like 6, 7 cents. It was up to almost 2 billion market cap, bled all the way back down to like 600 million, 700 million. And then it saved itself without a tier one listing, pumped all the way back up to like 2.2, 2.3 billion, 2.4 billion. So whenever these tier one exchanges are seeing that the chart's supporting itself and that Brett is maintaining, a top 10 meme coin position, the only one in the top 10 without a tier one listing, they're going to hold that in their back pocket and let this chart support itself for as long as it can.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the tier one listing, especially the Coinbase listing at this point, is inevitable. It's the face of the Coinbase network or of the base network. It's the mascot for the network, largest coin on the base network by far. There's been smaller coins like DGen got listed on Coinbase and it's a tenth of the size of Brett.
Yes.
So I think that listing, it's inevitable. I don't know when it's going to happen. They're going to do it when it makes the most sense for them to do it. Um, but yeah, I mean, once that happens, it's Valhalla.
Yeah, because like you said, they're not going to let the face of their network die. So Coinbase, if you're bullish on the company itself, which has done fantastic of building its brand in the crypto space and essentially becoming the biggest exchange in the U.S. Outside of Binance, it's like they're not going to not pump it, and so they know what the hell they're doing. They know when to list this shit. So, and the other thing with Coinbase too, the catalyst is the amount of people that they're looking and they've been saying that they're trying to onboard onto their chain. If they even hit, they said a billion, I believe it was a billion people they said they wanted to bring on chain,
Yep.
which is obviously outrageous. So it's not going to be a billion. I'll be the first to say that. There's no way. If they do, great. Prove me wrong. It's not going to be a billion. It's not going to be 500 million. But right now on base chain, there's probably sub 10 million people on there. I wonder if that's a statistic that we can look up, but
I'm sure you can.
yeah, I'm sure you
But
could.
I mean, if you look at the different chains,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, base for the past 5, 6 months straight has been onboarding more users monthly than any other chain by a lot. Um, as far as percentage moves, I don't know about actual nominal values if it's adopting more, but percentage wise, it's onboarding way quicker than any other network. So people see the vision, people see the value, people like the low gas fees that exist on base chain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of we were talking about it a couple streams ago. The base memes have been starting to get a lot more attention, like the ski mask dog or whatever was doing multiples. A lot of coins on the base network are getting more attention, not just the soul trenches. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think that the exposure is definitely continuing to go up, and I think that as Ethereum and Bitcoin and the majors start to perform really well here over the next month or two, especially Ethereum, and we start to really get a lot of hype around the bull market, I think Coinbase is going to capitalize on the hype around crypto in general, and they're going to really start to push the base chain network more. And as they do it, why would they not want to list the number one coin on their network? Like they don't want to miss out on those fees. Like they don't want to miss out on those exchanges. They don't want to miss out on that volume. It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to happen within the next month. I would say Brett is probably going to get listed. If not in January, I'd say definitely in February.
Right. And just even from where it's listed at right now, the price it's in value, deep value. This is where you want to be accumulating a Brett. 4x just to that first bit of fib confluence at $4 billion market cap. 4x. Boom. There's a quick 4x. Bang right there. Brett, as long as Pepe does what Pepe is expected to do, it certainly is going to probably play around in this territory on this log fib, about 13 billion. If Coinbase can do anything that they predict that they can do, and we get that massive rotation into base chain, then I could certainly see Brett going to a $44 billion market cap, which again sounds outrageous right now. I mean, that's quite literally a 44x from where it's at right now. Do you think it could do a 44x? It sounds fucking insane, but it's possible. If Pepe does a 15x from where it's at right now, Brett is a smaller asset. Brett is higher levered Ethereum. So what if you get 15x on Pepe? Maybe 40x is a little bit much. Maybe somewhere in here you get some movement in here, which is this would be a 1.3, so that would be a 13x. Yeah, so you get like a 20x up in here, 25, 24, 25
Well, the
billion.
base network wasn't around last cycle, correct?
No.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting because I mean I think that yeah the gas fees on Ethereum I think are going to play a bigger role than what people are expecting.
Right.
So I think there's going to be groundbreaking volume on the Ethereum network. Um, I mean the total market cap for crypto has already been hitting new all-time highs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was up over 4 billion a little bit earlier in like November, I believe mid-November, end of November, it was around 4 billion. So it's like the total market cap for crypto is already hitting all-time highs before the bull run even gets going. So there's going to be more volume on Ethereum than ever before.
Right.
And with that being said, I think the gas fees are going to get insane. And last cycle, we didn't have the base network. So who knows? I mean, it could be a cycle of its own at the end of, towards the end of 2025. Maybe after, Ethereum takes over market dominance, starts to outperform Bitcoin, all the coins on Ethereum pump, and then who knows, maybe this cycle, because the base chain exists, if it gets a ton of traction and onboards a lot of people like they're expecting, maybe at the end of the year, once Ethereum starts to cool off, then it'll be the base network season.
Mm-hmm.
And then historically moving forward, maybe that's a thing. Maybe there's a base pump following the Ethereum cool off. I mean, I don't know. I could definitely see it happening. And if that happens, then Brett's going to lead it for sure.
Absolutely. Because that's where all the whales are going to go to. And the thing about people who have, multi millions of dollars at this point, because they made all that money on Pepe, these other large assets, like you said, to avoid the fees, they can go find a safe haven on base chain. Well, if they have a lot of liquidity, what asset are they going to be forced to twop into? Well, Brett, because it's going to have the most liquidity. It's going to be the largest asset on base chain. So that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go to Brett. They're not going to go into something that's illiquid where they just pump the price on themselves. No, it's going to Brett. Like that is the advantage that larger assets do have compared to the smaller ones, which Brett still relatively is a smaller not smaller meme coin, a smaller asset in the grand scheme of things compared to the XRPs and the Ethereums and Bitcoins, etc., that are multi-$100 billion market caps. Brett's only 1 billion. It's actually what Doge was at this time last cycle. So if Doge goes from 1 bill to 95 bill, who knows what Brett could do. But the point being is Brett has the advantage of it has more liquidity. So these guys with multi-million-dollar portfolios aren't going to twop into a fucking ski mask dog or a fucking degen that's 100 mil, 200 mil, right? They're going to twop into Brett because there's actually some liquidity there. They're not going to destroy themselves by twopping into this asset. So that's the advantage you have with Brett. Brett, I'm so bullish on. I know that Coinbase is going to fucking pump their chain, pump their users up. All their users are going to do what? They're going to buy Brett. They're going to buy Brett. They're going to buy Brett, especially because it's attached to the Boys Club narrative. It's like the best of both worlds. You have the Coinbase catalyst and the base chain catalyst. So it's going to be the winner on base chain. And you have the Pepe catalyst, which is the winner of the whole meme coin space this cycle. So how could you be bearish on a Brett? Right? You might not like the meme. You might not think it's the best character, etc. It doesn't matter. It's a fucking bullshit. Who cares what it did? I don't even care what fucking picture's there for it. I just care about what it does and how it trades. So Brett will pump. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. But that rotation into base chain will happen. People aren't stupid. People want to save money. Gas fees are going to be absolutely outrageous, multi-hundreds of dollars just to do one transaction on Ethereum. People don't understand that. People aren't prepared for that. On base chain, it'll be cents. So hundreds of dollars per transaction, 1 cent. It's like, all right, people are going to make the rotation into base. So I like 25 bill for Brett. I like that area for Brett. If Pepe hits around 100, I certainly believe. I mean, 25 billion at that point would probably be a little light because it's going to trade at what? No, that seems about right. Yeah, compared to where it's at now. Yeah, that seems about right. Take a look.